Hello, I'm the X2Cat and welcome back to the second channel video. Today I'm in Warsaw, Poland, where it's very, very windy. Hopefully that doesn't show on the vlog because I'm here at the Uprising Museum, which hopefully, it's got a giant wall. It's a pretty cool wall for lots of reasons, but basically the wall's going to hopefully shield some of the wind and yeah, look up Polish history sometime. Very interesting stuff. But yeah, we're not here to talk about Polish history, we're here to talk about Polish present, because a fun fact that you might not know is the fact that Poland, despite being in Europe and being in the EU more specifically, does not use the euro. And this gets very confusing for a lot of people from, I guess, not Europe, because okay, so there's lots of countries in the EU and the EU has an official currency, the euro. Why do they not use that? Why does Poland still have the, let me show you it, the zloty, which looks like this. It's a very cool currency. I'm not pronouncing it right, I know, but it's a really cool looking currency. It looks like that in note form, and it looks like this in coin form. It's a really, wait, can you see it properly? It's really, really cool currency. Why do they use that instead of the euro? That's what I'll be explaining in today's video. Hopefully you all do enjoy it. So with that said, let's just jump straight into it, and let's just start by saying the European Union wasn't something that just happened overnight. The EU started as the European Coal and Steel Community, and it slowly built up over the last 60 years. I've kind of gone over the basic progression in a bunch of videos, but it didn't just start as, oh, it's the European Union, which is, guess what, the monetary, the political, all these things combined together. It starts just being, hey, let's trade coal and steel with each other, then hey, let's trade everything together. And then, yeah, it slowly just evolved into where it was today. And as a result of that, all of the different things about the EU that you might consider to be the whole package kind of formed as like a one-by-one progression. So again, started with just coal and steel. It just kind of built up like that, which means that they're not all necessarily the same thing. Being part of the Schengen area does not mean that you're part of the European Union. Being part of the European Monetary Customs, all these things does not mean you're part of the EU. It's just they mostly align together. So yeah, simple as that. The the euro and the currency, etc., isn't just a part of the EU, and therefore Poland is not actually in that right now. However, one thing that that makes it a bit more complex than, oh, it's that simple, is it? Is the fact that actually when Poland joined the EU, they joined after the euro was at least a theoretical thing, and therefore they're obliged to join it. So yeah, Poland is obliged to have the euro at some point, so why are they not going to, at least for the foreseeable future? Well, that's the more complex bit of the question I think they go through with today's video, because basically the euro is something that I guess most people picture to be like more of a traditional currency, where one day there was no euro and then the next day, guess what, it just poofed into the air from nowhere, and oh, now there's a euro all of a sudden and that's currency. But it didn't actually work that way. The way the euro actually came to be is it existed as a theoretical currency for several years before it became a physical currency, which then replaced all of its members' real currency. So it replaced the franc, the zero, I want to say, lira, the Italian zero, I don't know how you pronounce it, the Spanish, I should know more currencies, but they're not, the Deutschmark. It replaced all these currencies on that same day, but it replaced them theoretically before then. And the way it does that, you might be like, how do you theoretically replace a currency? Because they all join in something called the European Exchange Rate Mechanism. It's called like ERM1 and ERM2. Basically, they agree to fix their currency to the new theoretical euro, and then after they've been fixed to it for several years, then they created the euro and that became a thing, which is where the kind of technicality comes in on the fact that Poland is legally obliged to have the euro at some point, but like Sweden, there's kind of this loophole in the whole, like, the wording of it, because the only way you can join the euro is to, give me a second to pause. Sorry, the doors started closing. You might have heard some sirens in the background. Basically, yeah, the whole place was closing down, and I feel like if I hadn't just stopped the whole thing, you might have run into some issues. But anyway, like I was saying, so basically the pre-requirement to actually having it, which is something they're legally obliged to do, is joining this other thing, which is a whole bunch of criteria. I believe it's 6 official ones. It's like government deficit, and there's a whole bunch of criteria they have to meet in order to get the euro. And usually, or before, it was seen as like a negative and a good thing. It was like, yeah, let's race through these as fast as possible, and they'd sometimes even make slight exceptions if you were close to them and stuff like that. However, more recently, it's not just seen as like, oh yeah, we're gonna try and get you as close to those as possible, and you're gonna try and do them as fast as possible, because since like that first rule was set and all the countries joined the euro, I guess it'd be 14 years ago now, or 15 years ago now. Since that happened, it stopped being a purely positive endeavor, because the euro, there's been a whole bunch of crises since then, and basically, yeah, Poland has its own little loophole, which is shared by Sweden and a few other countries, which are just like on the edge right now, in that they've always set dates for the future, but they've never really wanted to hit them, and they never have hit them to this point. So yeah, basically, in case you're kind of curious as to what I mean by like, oh, there's upsides and downsides, you might think, oh yeah, or just adopt the euro, because then there's all the benefits. Basically, long story short, this isn't an economics video, but there are many advantages and disadvantages to having a shared versus your own currency. The United Kingdom and Denmark have opt-outs, by the way, but every other country does not. And the reason that it's kind of a good thing to just kind of, I guess the reason that I'm trying to like make this just easy economics, no politics, nothing like that. The benefits is that you can print your own money, in short, and therefore, if there is a crisis, you can print your way out of it, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but it's one of the monetary tools you have. The downside is you lose that if you use someone else's currency, but the upside is it's easier to trade with other people because you're trading in the same units. A lot of different things like that come down, and there's upsides and downsides to put it very simply. And because Polish public support is so low, and because to change the currency officially they need a constitutional amendment, which requires something like a 66% majority, it's basically gone to that point where it's like, well, the way we'd have to do this is to hold a referendum, and we know we'd lose the referendum, so I guess we're just not joining the euro. So yeah, why does Poland not use the euro? Why does it still use the zloty? Which again, super cool currency, look at it. The reason is, I guess, too complex to say in like a single sentence, but they don't want to, and they found a loophole, so they don't have to. And that is why the Polish zloty is a thing. So I don't know how well the audio went on this thing, because again, it's just so windy here everywhere. It's also freezing cold, so pro tip for Poland, pro tip for Poland, it's cold here and stuff. So thank you very much for watching this video. I'm going to just show you the background of the skyline, because no matter where I've been in Poland, like, the skyline's been like amazingly large. Like, unlike a skyscraper district that those places seem to have, it's like just one skyscraper every block or so. I don't know if that's like intentional or if that's just, like Samsung, because that's Samsung skyscraper right there, like just behind me. I don't know if that's intentional or if that's just everyone trying to have their own block. I don't know what it is, but it's been a nice place so far. And there's your fun story about the euro and stuff. So hope you all enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.